That'll work. Has it come?
No.
All right. Well, we're live, so let's talk about it. What's up, Ben?
Yo, what's going on?
Not much. My
Last
dog.
one.
What?
Last one of the year.
Last one. Yeah. My dog tried to make friends with a coyote this afternoon.
I don't know. I thought coyotes were nocturnal.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was a
Like,
fox. It was not until I got home that I realized that was a coyote because I Google image searched it.
Is that wildfire related?
Maybe. I mean, it's probably moving them around some. It was in Deb's Park, which is like it's nature-y, but it's not like super. There's like people. There's a lot of, it's in Los Angeles. There's a lot of people that go there, so it could have been a displaced one, or it could have been one that's like just sort of used to people because they're around there all the time. But yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. I mean, I guess like looking back on it, my dog's pretty big. She's like 65 pounds. She's very tall, and the thing was just as big as she was. I saw it before she did, and she just like started booking it towards. She's a very friendly dog. Started booking it towards it. It just looks like another mangy ass dog, and I'm like screaming, "Millie, get the nothing." She gets close enough to like she gets up and is like goes to sniff, and it just like lunges at her, and she dodged it, started running back towards me. It like followed her. I'm like, oh shit. So I just like kind of puffed up and like hissed as loud as I could, and then it just sat there for a while.
Get it out of here.
Yeah, beat it. It was there's nature's everywhere,
Not in the suburbs of New York City, but yeah, we have some foxes and stuff.
Yeah, foxes are I'm used to foxes. My mom like would feed. She liked foxes, so she would like leave them stuff, and other dogs of mine. It's like, well, they can't run around in the backyard now if you're like trying to let foxes hang out here.
This is true.
Dumbass. I'm sorry, that's my mother. I would never say that.
She's probably watching. Anyway.
Yeah.
RSM I've built. It was, I don't know, if you're ever watching, obviously, we want to take your questions. We want to talk about how we build these lines. It was brutal. Like, I knew the field was bad, and I knew that would make it somewhat tougher. My God, I was not thrilled with any part of my lineups. I got through it, but it is a tricky little week.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not particularly enjoying. I'm like in the process of building and like kind of setting my exposures now, and I've not had a lot of fun with that thus far. First of all the projection systems are disagreeing wildly, like even more so than they have in the last few weeks, which like we've said is going to be a little more of a thing this time of year. But it's looking like everybody is going to be 15 to 22% owned. There's a bunch of trash that's not going to be owned that you shouldn't own, and then just there's a few like 1%ers that I like, but it's just a ton of 3 to 5, 6 to 8% owned guys everywhere, up and down.
Yeah.
So
not a week where a lot of times we talk about you could take the more optimal play, but if there's too much ownership, you'll take the reverse coin flip. This is more of a week where it's like you have 3 or 4 guys. They're all going to be about the same ownership. You're just trying to pick the best guy, whoever finishes higher, best available. And it is tricky because these guys are, they're not great players, and they're bunched up like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I mean, we've got like, 6 to 8% owned $7,800 Richie Wierenski, and I'm like, should I match the field on that?
Still Haas. Yeah, I mean, all right. So, right off the top, are you playing cash?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm playing a little. I am playing some, nothing crazy, just some double ups, some 3-5 mans. Cash is brutal. I started with Webb. I think you could go a lot of different directions in cash, but I feel best just plugging in Webb and working from there. He's the one guy where it's like I do feel pretty safe with him.
Yeah, I agree. If I was playing cash, like no disagreement there. You start with Webb, and then you've got 7,600 a player left. There's plenty of dudes in there, and you're just hoping to pick the right ones. Cooler's got you pretty good. You see that? Where Ben lives, the wildlife is middle class people.
It's not wrong, Westchester. Don't hate.
It's true. You did. I mean, you got a little bit of it. It wasn't a natural disaster, but when those like bombs went to the went to all the like prominent people. That's your
Yeah,
town.
yeah, that is my town. But we got hit. I mean, Sandy messed the area up, but that was a while ago.
She just got elected to Congress, though. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, Sandy. That's Sandy. Good point. Yorktown High School, way to represent.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Well, we don't. Yeah, I don't think cash honestly is that cool of a discussion because there's just you really aren't going to find where it's like, oh, here's your bucket of cash people. It's all blended in a field like this. There's not a lot of separation.
We've got, I don't know, a couple hundred people watching right now. I'd put the over-under on people watching that are playing cash at
10.5% or people.
People.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a bad cash week. Like I said, it's a bad cash week because most of unless you're taking a really aggressive GPP play, you can justify almost anyone in cash in a field like this. This is, we've said it's a full field. It's the whole 156, 6 of 6. It can vary depending on the chalk, but it's going to be tough. It's not an easy cut. That's what we're going to do. And we have the double course thing, which not that changes it a bunch, but it's not great. What are you doing with that? You going to like course stacks a little?
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like it looks quite a bit nastier tomorrow than Friday. So I am somewhat inclined to play more people that are playing at the plantation course tomorrow and get the seaside on Friday. And I'll stack a little bit both ways. But as of right now, I do think I'm planning on making that the idea of it somewhat aggressive. Like, I think I'm going to probably, out of 150 right now, again, not really having built, but looking at something like 60 stacks of all tomorrow seaside, 60 stacks of all tomorrow plantation, 30 stacks of all tomorrow seaside, and then another 60 just where I'm not worried about it. But something to that effect. Maybe not quite that crazy, but definitely we'll have a large portion of it. I've been kind of building those pools of those guys. That's a tougher thing too because it's harder. Like on Fantasy Cruncher, they put the tee times down, but obviously they don't have what court because the tee time itself doesn't matter. Everyone's going off within 2 hours of one another.
Yep, can't really stack tee times. And I'm the same way. I look to do that here and there. I didn't go nuts with it, to be honest. I have a lot of teams where I have 5 guys, and then the last spot I was just like, I'm not going to take someone I like significantly worse. I'll take my one guy maybe playing by himself. So I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. You talked about this. These courses, most likely you're not going to see anything crazy. I'm not too concerned with it. It's good to have a little. If you're playing enough teams, why not? But pretty straight up overall in terms of building.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Bermuda Benny, as I mentioned him yesterday, he withdrew. So don't play Ben Martin. Sad. Save me some money probably.
Yeah, he listened to the garbage trucks, man. He knew what was up.
I just rolled those shares to Peter Malnati, so it probably didn't save me any money.
Yeah, that's so ugly how much Peter Malnati I'm planning on having. Are you for real going there? Because I did last week and it sucked, but I played him a lot.
Am I for real going there? I definitely have exposure. It's nothing outrageous. It's not like I have 40%. I think I have 15% or so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some real. We're gonna get into it. Obviously, I have some people, some real shady characters. Not a lot changed for me, but I softened what I thought I was gonna do, and I wasn't trying to piggyback off last week. Last week I had 100% spawn, and this week Bud Cauley was the guy where I was like, okay, this is just the price I thought was borderline wrong. Maybe I take 75% of him and work around that. The more I dug, the less I wanted. I still have a good amount, but I didn't make an aggressive stand there, and that really changed the entire dynamic of my portfolio.
I think he has a real shot at being the most popular golfer.
That is one of the things.
I mean, probably Webb is the most popular golfer, but at his price tier for certain, and I think he'll rival the other really, I think he'll rival Champ and and Spawn and all of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they will be popular.
I have a good amount of him in terms of pure exposure, but per dollar, not as much because I have a feeling in higher dollar stuff, the potential Cauley fade is going to be more lucrative than like in a lotto style where, you're not going to get massive Bud Cauley ownership there.
No. CT Pan is going to be like crazy chalk too. What are you doing with that?
I have a good amount of him. It's tough, man, because you got Spawn. I don't know how big the chalk will be, just because you said it. There's so many options, and there's not dead guys like Hadley and Glover. They're not going to be the chalk. I know that, but they're not going to be unpopular either. Like you've got Webb, you've got Champ. I mean, it's going to be spread pretty thin in terms of margin. So I don't know how high anyone creeps up when you're talking about the top tier.
No, I think that's true. I think Webb, because it does become pretty restrictive if you play Webb and another one of those Champ, or because then you're diving below 7 entirely.
That's really hard. I think
it's bad. Yeah, there's a few plays down there, but there's not many players, so you can take some shots, but like playing 4 of those guys is gonna get real hairy. So I think that Webb will be probably the most popular guy overall, but then Champ's got the people who love him, but I think it's going to be hard for him to get above 15, 16, 18% just because you can't play Champ and Webb, and there's just other ways to go here.
The overlap of those, you're not going to have that many lineups with 2 of the guys we're talking about. So if they're all dispersed, there's just not that much to go around.
Yeah.
And I don't have that much Champ. I know you were kind of into him.
Yeah, I like it. I called him as my winner. I'm going to buy this week. He's fun. I'll give him that. And he's been massively chalky for what I thought was a fair price tag for him lately. This week the price tag's up enough. I do think, we'll see. I'm not ruling it out that he's just really is this good of a player. I mean, the guy he's legitimately the longest player on tour already.
It's incredible.
That's awesome.
I'm still, the one thing with him, and we will see, I don't know exactly what he did last week. I'm skeptical of his short game in general. Yeah. I don't think it's out of the question where he's just going to fall into a bucket with Keith Mitchell and these other guys where it's he's even better off the tee. He's a true, possibly just a different breed.
Yeah.
If he can't scramble and he can't putt, it's not going to matter. Now he's shown that he can here and there for sure, but we'll see.
Well, he's been putting well all season. He hasn't really needed to scramble because he's hitting a ton of greens. So he was, he was 8th or 9th or something like that in greens in regulation last week.
You don't have to be a great iron player we talked about that yesterday. If you only have 80 yards out, you should hit a ridiculous amount of greens.
Mm-hmm. Unless it gets unless it gets really windy, I don't think people will be missing many. So,
no. That's what I want to see with him. Not that this is the week for that. Give me him when it's a little tougher. I'd like to see that. But so far,
I wouldn't want to play him in that. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think Hadley has done well here, but doesn't this seem like he's so good with irons from the fairways, and you're gonna be in the fairway. It's really, you got to screw up pretty bad to not be in the fairway on a course this short with fairways this wide. Mm-hmm. And even if you do, the rough doesn't look like it's super penal. So
the thing about Hadley, and he's played here. I mean, he's not that he's a Georgia guy, but he prefers Bermuda. He really doesn't have great results here. But we've seen I can't even remember what it was, but we've seen a couple times with Hadley where it's just he should like this course, he hadn't, and then he gets it done. He's someone I really don't worry about course history for a lot of reasons. One, he's been such a different player at different parts of his career. He's just better than he was, and then he was horrible. A lot of that is bad data. I kind of take him more on recent form and face value.
Hadley? Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you take that, even if you take his last, 4, 5, 6 months or whatever, he's not very good. I mean,
no, but in these weaker field tournaments, where it sets up, well, I feel like those are the kind of, I don't know. I also take him like he gets on these. He got on a stretch, then he was horrible again, and then now he's been. He was good in Malaysia, and he was good the other week. He's really expensive. I mean, you're not at. That's the theme of this week, obviously. Like if Hadley was if he was 7,800, and I've rostered him a million times where my thought was return, come in 18th and you do your job. He's 10-1. Like he can't just make the cut. That's not going to be enough.
Right.
That makes it tough. When your first guy in your lineup, you're not that confident makes the cut. It's very tricky.
Oh, I agree. But, whatever. I think you have a little more more confidence in your first guys a lot of the times than I do too. So like we see the massive favorites miss cuts a lot in golf. It's not that uncommon. Like the best guys are making cuts at 75-80% of the time. Yeah,
it doesn't feel like that. Like it feels like it's 95%.
Yeah,
and it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But this is, like I said, if this was a 130 something, it would be like those extra 25 guys, even though they're garbage, just 5 of them getting in. Not that this is overly important. I think there's a good chance we see an MDF. Like it's going to be, you could get 80 something guys getting through. So we'll see about that.
Yeah. Some of our friends with some good points in the chat about Showdown this week. That's actually a really good idea. You can just jam Plantation and people will probably screw it up.
Let other people chase.
Yeah.
Like just play the Plantation course and work from there.
And there's still 80 guys on each course or so, whatever, 76 or something. So there's plenty of dudes to you're not necessarily, and you're not as worried about a dupe. I don't know. It's not like Showdown has massive prizes. You're just trying to do well. You're trying to churn out a bit of a profit. It's not like you can shoot for the moon at Showdown in November.
If it was a huge, gigantic tournament, you could be contrarian and stack Seaside. But
right.
The reward for that is not, you're just, like you just said, grind it out. Let other people who are unaware of the difference mess up, and then, you can scrape out some cheap profit.
Yes, you can.
All right, I'm just looking down. I got a lot of Neiman.
As I throw together a Showdown cash lineup for today.
Yeah, I know, right? You know what I added late? My last guy was Harold Varner.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? When this guy somehow comes in third, I just don't want to have no teams with him. Carolina boy, playing well. I like him. I do root for him. I rarely have him for some reason. I jumped on a little. He's right next to Neiman.
Yeah, I have about 10% of him. I have significantly more Neiman.
Oh, me too. Neiman's one of my highest exposure guys. It's just, I'm trying to, it is what it is. You can wait for him to get back in form permanently, and then you're going to get a lot more ownership and a lot higher price. Or you could take the stab when he's kind of a little more erratic and probably more miscut equity than usual. I'll do the latter.
Agreed, and I'd like to get a chance to turn a profit on the guy because I didn't play him all summer. He had some good runs. It didn't hurt you as much as I think people remember, but he had some pretty good runs.
That was one guy. I mean, I know a lot of people would know, but I was waiting for Neiman to get there. I know you were more of a Maverick guy, and then I missed the window on him the first time, so. Anyway, let's see. No, ZJ.
Chris you were on him when because he came out of the gate pretty bad. And I remember you, I found out about him because you were on him. You knew about him first. And then he just, I remember, because I think the most famous, not famous, but I remember watching a ton of him at the Masters because he was paired with stupid Fred Couples who, they needed to show you as a featured group the whole time. So, because the I forget what it was, but the TV coverage didn't come on till later, so you just had to watch the featured group, and it was Fred Couples and Joaquin Neiman just hitting in the water. Well, Couples was just fine for 2 days, but it was Neiman hitting it in the damn water left and right. It was bad. Yeah,
and now we see that's not that weird because his scrambling is not good. He's he was not ready for that. Certainly totally different player now, and this is a totally different field. What did you do with these low 8s? Like Peter Uihlein, Jamie Lovemark, even your boy Sunjay Im.
Yeah, big fan.
I know.
I don't really have a ton. I don't have really any Uihlein because I'm just not afraid of that person.
Yeah, I have a little Uihlein.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I have to. I didn't have. I get the Lovemark play. Nothing against it. Quietly and
another guy that just doesn't scare me at all.
He doesn't scare me either, and that's kind of what you were saying about Uihlein. I actually don't even know if I got Lovemark into a team, and I would have if I made more teams, but I'm not too worried. If Lovemark beats me, so be it. Can't have all these guys. I'd rather take a couple extra shares of some of these other dudes. And then Bud Cauley's going to be there. I have some Bill Haas. I have some Burgoon. Those guys, I don't know. That's tough range.
I have a lot of Burgoon. That's kind of yeah. Why not?
I mean, he withdrew last week. That kind of freaked me out. But I'm not overly. He's here. I haven't heard anything, so.
Yeah, good player, good price. I think that he's a guy who can scramble. Like I remember at first, he was just a dude that would never score, and he was like good on the Euro Tour, and just. Yes. No.
I don't think Burgoon on the Euro Tour, really?
Am I making that up?
You may be, but you may not be. I never thought of him as a Euro Tour guy. Don't think it's him, but could be.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. I'm sure someone in the chat will correct us, but I know it's not. I'm not thinking of Uihlein. I swear, like Burgoon crushed at the Swiss Masters or some shit like that. I have this memory. Maybe it's not Bronson Burgoon. Maybe I'm thinking of another person.
Swiss Masters. Get out of here with that. And Burgoon, I mean, I see why you like him. Obviously, he's good off the tee.
You got me into him this summer. This is what I mean. 2 years ago when he kind of first came over, I think.
Bronson Burgoon, I don't think you're thinking of the right person.
I swear.
First of all, he's American.
I know that he's American.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. There's no sense in talking about this more because I don't really have any outs here. But I thought that he had played in Europe. Thought he came over. I remember being kind of into him at one point and being like, all right, this guy's interesting. And it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I hadn't thought about him since. Really, until the last month or two where you've been getting me onto him a little bit.
Yeah, I never really played this guy. But the off the tee, I've been some of these courses, it really just seems like, and this one there's wide fairways, so it's not as pertinent, but if you can drive the ball somewhat in the sense of total driving, and keep it in play, you can just go crazy. So he's just been setting himself up good. Now, he killed both of us a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to hold that against him. None of these guys are consistent enough where a miscut is you're going to get some really bad things. Hadley's the poster boy for that. He misses the cut all the time on spots he shouldn't, and then other times he's rolling with his irons. You got to take a little of that with these type of players.
Yeah. Does Bronson Burgoon not even have a Wikipedia page? It's disgusting.
No, he's got to have a Wikipedia page.
I just can't find it.
You are just all over the map with this dude.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in my head, man,
Okay, Bronson Burgoon may not have a Wikipedia. That part is potential. I'm going to the official World Golf Rankings for you. Bronson Burgoon, ya boy. Watch, he just played extensively in Europe. No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I only see 2017. Let's see. Let's go back a little further. Anyway, as we work down, you got Armour, Brian Gay, Killa Keith. Any of those type of guys make it in a meaningful way? I kind of have sprinkles of some, but I'm not super into, and no one stood out, I guess is the best way for me to say it.
Kelly Keith? No, I'm not playing him.
What about the other two? They're better than Killer Keith anyway.
Who were the other two?
Ryan Gay and Ryan Armour.
Yeah. Oh, from the question from yesterday? Yeah. I have a fair amount of Gay.
Okay.
Just think it works out for him. Yeah, Burgoon's played 3 Euro Tour events. The Open Championship twice and the U.S. Open. Damn it.
I want to know so badly who you're thinking of, though.
Yeah. I swear it's not Uline.
The only guys I know that came over are, it's obviously you're not thinking of Brooks. Brooks is the other one who did that, and Uline. Kelly Craft.
I mean, it might be an actual Euro that just came over here for a bit, then went away.
The juice is on the loose.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we got? God, there's so many bad players. I mean, I know I just keep saying this. We're gonna get to some real egregious guys.
I mean, we're doing it now.
But these are like the guys that I think are going to be somewhat popular.
Okay.
This starts where I have guys that I think are going to be 1%. I have a little Taylor Gooch.
Yeah. Taller.
That's got to be a 1%er, right?
Oh, I would think so. Because just no one even knows what happened to him. He's just been gone. But yeah, I have 5 or 6% of him.
Yeah, my too.
Whee.
Working. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he also sounds like the movie guy, the Tommy Wiseau. Like if you pronounce his name the way it's sort of phonetically said, just taller, sounds like.
There's no Y. I see what's going on here.
Yeah, it sounds like the Tommy Wiseau accent. You know that guy who made the like epically famously bad movie. There was an actual movie that James Franco in it last year, where he played that guy.
The one where he's 2 people?
No, that's not a movie.
Okay. What is that?
Good too, though. That's The Deuce.
No, not that. That's good. Yeah, I watched that. Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm thinking of Tom Hardy in a movie where he's 2 different people.
Oh, yeah, the fighter guys. Yeah. I never saw that, but I heard it's amazing.
We're just all over the map tonight, but
listen, we're always all over the map. We just normally do it in a more organized fashion where it's like, all right, we're going to interject this thing, but I'm like tilted about Bronson Burgoon and Giannis.
So the second of these egregious guys, Nicholas Lindheim, good putter, not any 1%er, and this is what I've kind of done. I built very vanilla, and then I took one guy. Like I have him in some stuff. In high stakes, I think there's a chance I'm the only person. So I'll roll the dice.
I once heard a take that he was the best putter on tour, and it wasn't particularly close.
Yeah, it's not particularly close. He's clearly not the best putter on tour, but he is a good putter. And in this kind of field, you've said this many times, this is borderline web. This isn't a strong field at all, obviously. And a guy like that, I don't feel that much less confident with him than, say, like Duffner, who I do have a good amount of. I kind of warmed up to him. I think you or Tim, one of you guys was making the case for him yesterday, and I ended up buying more than I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but
okay.
Just because I had never really gotten off Duffner until like a few months ago. It was still just like, oh my god, this is like a kind of crappy event. We have Jason Duffner, who's a real player at 7,200, and he's going to be 2% owned. Might as well.
Yeah, I hadn't been playing
disaster after disaster, so like I just haven't been doing it. But
speaking of disaster after disaster, the
Disaster Artist. That's the name of that movie. Just watch the trailer. The way that he would say Taylor Gooch is Taylor Gooch, and it.
All right.
So
I've never heard of that.
It got nominated for stuff, and then it got brushed away because James Franco had the whole sexual misconduct allegations. So that was kind of like. It was sort of peaking when all of that happened, so I think the movie got brushed under a little bit.
When you said Disaster Artist, I'm not joking. This was the guy I wanted to bring up. I thought you were trying to give Ollie a new nickname. That's who I was thinking of. He is not good since Waste Management. How crazy is that?
He has not been good since Waste Management?
When I say not good, like he has no top 25 since Waste Management.
Yes.
That's insane. That's almost a year.
Yep.
Having said that, do you have any?
Ollie? Yeah. I have 3 or 4%. Like Nothing, and then in the 150, I'm not playing him in the club tour. I'm not playing him in my 3 max, but I'm, dipping my finger in the Ollie well to get burned probably. But
one of the better in terms of just pure score. The guy can score. He's been scoring. The problem is he cannot stay off. It's interesting. I don't have any Ollie. I want to be clear about that. But the case I'll make is a course like last week. It was you score and then you make doubles and triples. That's the death for Ollie. This is the kind of course you really can't get. I mean, you always can, but this is not that type of course. It's more like you're more likely to just bogey a bunch of holes than have a 9. And I think that plays more into Ollie's hands because he usually gets into deep trouble, not consistent trouble. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of, punching out here. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're in the jungle last week. Like, if you're offline, you're OB. This is... if you're hitting it all over and you can't putt, of course you're going to be in trouble, but you're not dodging trouble off the tee unless you do something insane, like Wesley Bryan.
The one guy guaranteed to lose strokes at this event.
Ryder is a good play. He's fine. I know we didn't mention him. I have no problem with that. I'm just going to continue with these egregious plays. I have some Ted Potter. I never play that guy.
I was noticing, actually, and I meant to bring it up at some point, but, one of the guys in the chat yesterday, I can't remember who it was, but during our main show, kept talking about Ted Potter. I was like, Ted Potter.
He incepted me, I guess, because I have some. Kind of sets up well. I know, he's the Pebble Beach savant, coastal, short course. He can lean on the irons. He's not been great. It's just
trash, but
I know it's really bad. I prefer Poston in general.
Yeah.
But I have a couple teams with Ted Potter and some important teams, including my cash lineup.
You have Ted Potter in cash?
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Yeah, I try to just slip that in there. Yeah, I do.
Damn,
I'm not talking about cash, but I have Ted Potter in cash. It's bad. It's real bad.
I like
so
it.
What about if I start getting notifications like so-and-so's challenged you to a head-to-head, we'll know that people are watching the show.
Yeah, one of the Godfather teams going to challenge you to a 10K.
Who knows who he has? Probably Landry.
At least one of his eight different cash lineup accounts will have Landry.
Anders Albertson.
I actually don't hate Landry this week. That's another super egregious. I'll try it. I'm not going crazy, but he's a person.
He's a person. He's more of a bentgrass Texas guy for me. Not too into it. He won a tournament last year. It's not like he can't do it. I just had too many pivots right in that exact range from Duffner to Lindheim. I know that's a sentence from Duffner to Lindheim. It's not good.
I mean, listen, am I proud of saying I have a little bit of Albert Landry? No.
Albert Landry. You shouldn't be proud of that.
Sorry,
that's not
I had Albert Anderson on the mind. Am I proud of saying that I have a little bit of Andrew Landry? No. But when the alternative is you being like, I don't know, I think I have Nicholas Lindheim in high stakes this week. It's
that's true. It's not good. Yeah, I mean, but seriously, you just look at this range. You got Sam Burns, Aaron Badley, David Hearn, Streb, Duffner, Johnson Wagner, Matt Every, Ollie.
I looked at Aaron Badley for a second, without irony, to be like, I wonder if I can do that. And it's he's such a bad sprayer. That's not as big of a deal here, blah, blah, blah. And then I couldn't.
No. There's just and maybe these are somewhat biases, but this is just kind of how I do things in fields like this. I will take some of these younger guys where we know less and they're a little hungrier and they're just a little better form than someone like Matt Every or Streb, who I like Streb in life, but I'd rather roll the dice with an unknown guy.
What about Streelman, who might be 5% owned and is 7K flat?
That guy.
But come on, would that be a surprise to see him 8,200 here? No,
no, it wouldn't. You're right. He's just playing horrible though. It reminds me of Henley. Like, and what did we see last week with him? Not that he was not good, but he finally did something.
Yeah, he was like close, not like in contention, but he was getting up there. I feel like he cracked the top 20 a couple times when it was like before it was too late, and then just spun in place on Sunday. So, but yeah, it was kind of nice to see him there for a little bit. What about your boy? No, sorry. Go ahead. You got let's finish Streelman talk.
No, I was just kind of adding on to that. The price is low enough where if he returns a Henley-like performance from last week, it's nice. Doesn't kill you by any stretch. It helps. I'm just pretty skeptical of where he's even at. I'm not messing around with him.
Okay. Yeah, I think Poston or Poston. I don't even know anymore. I don't even remember which one I was correcting you on yesterday. I was just doing it to be snot.
No respect.
I think Poston and I think he's kind of my favorite of the really cheap guys. I have a fair amount of Malnati still, playing a little Carlos Ortiz. I got some Mac Hughes, Mr. Easy Course.
The tour.
Yeah, Tor Hughes.
So I'm with you. I think JT Boston's a guy for some reason, and maybe everyone just like doesn't think. I play him borderline every week, and he's 5%. I think he's just good, and people don't seem to. His irons were the weak link, and they're better this year. He didn't putt last week. Right. He's a good putter historically. I have no problem with him.
That's it for me, is just looking at, and I think you can get more. Like I did, I pulled just like the putts per GIR and GIR percentage stats from last week, and no one is. That's it used to be like, oh wow, we've got a course where there's shot link data, and people don't actually look at what people did last week, and it'd be like you could get a real edge by saying, wow, this guy was kind of killing it in strokes gained approach. That was 2 years ago. Then we did 20 shows with Mayo. He took, he just said he brought that to the people. It was a good thing of him.
Yeah, well, now everyone's
doing it. So, like, I'm honestly just as happy analyzing a course where there was no shot link and everyone's like, well, we don't know anything. And it's like, well, actually, GIR and putts per GIR is not like nothing. It's pretty close to strokes gained putting and strokes gained approach. Like, they're pretty close. So you can at least tell Poston played well from tee to green last week and sucked on the greens. So, and he still came in 21st. So I'm down.
No, I think he's one of your safer options. I got one more. Actually, before I drop another egregious one, everyone watching, we love you. If you could hit the like button,
smash that.
It would appreciate it, because I'm going to need it after I drop what I'm about to drop here. With a guy I seemingly talk about playing every week. Do you have any Ryan Blom?
That was what I was interrupting myself listening to you talk about Streelman. That was what I was going to say. Okay. Your boy, going to be 1% this week. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about it, so I'm going to send it right back.
Another man that will be in my high stakes lineup. He lost legitimately 10 strokes putting a couple weeks ago. Not a long hitter. This would be perfect for him. Put it in the fairway. Lean on your irons. He can putt. Yeah. He's not that good, but this field is not that good. Like he should be fine.
Great spot for not that good players, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it's the kind of guy. I mean, this is how I evaluated it. If I play him occasionally, and I do, what could be better than, like, what would I want to play him at? It would be exactly this, like a shorter, weak field with generous fairways. And that's what we have this week. Not that he's going to go out and kill it, but he's going to be unpopular. And this is a week where I'm more into kind of taking some weird approaches, because and this is a huge if, with 156 players, there's a real chance you could be one of a handful of 6 of 6 if it breaks. Like last year, 6 of 6 was 1%, and I don't think that's out of the question again.
No, that happens a lot. Hasn't happened lately because it doesn't happen a lot on the Asian no-cut tour swing,
That's harder, yeah.
That's harder. One other before we get to our list. Our boy Shock wanted to know about your boy, Kelly Kraft.
Ah, boy. I looked at him too, and it was just like, it got to the point where I just couldn't find anything he's just playing. He's got somewhat middling form. He was 38th last week. He was 34 in Malaysia. I ultimately didn't get there. If I was playing 100 lineups, I probably would have 5%, but I'm not. So don't really. I think he's in the Ollie bucket. Like if you really want to go against the grain, go ahead. But for me, it was Swafford in that spot.
Okay. Yeah, I prefer Ollie just because we've seen Ollie get hot. Like,
I prefer honestly Ollie too.
If Kelly Craft plays well, he's going to be converting a ton of 15, like 2-putting from 12 feet a lot. And that's just not really getting you, again, if 6 is 1% and he plays pretty well and comes in 30th, like that's not necessarily a killer. But man, that guy has trouble scoring just because he cannot putt. So he's going to have to, and he's a good, really good tee to green player. But I mean, we're talking, he's going to have to hit it to 4, 5, 6 feet to get a good shot at those because he's
another guy. And this is of course a macro comment, but like I prefer to play him in Texas. Like he's just better in Texas. That's where I target him usually, and that's in the rare chance he plays well. I feel like it would be there.
And his one friend is not here, so I think he's kind of screwed. Yeah.
We got the other thing, and not that this is important, but I will say this: pet peeve. If 6 of 6 is 1%, if someone, when we're in our Slack chat, this happens all the time where it's like, oh, I played 20 lineups, I only got 2 6 of 6. It's like think about what you're saying. Just think about it. If this week, if you can get a couple of 6 of 6s, most likely, unless you're playing 150 lineups, they're gonna be sitting pretty. Like you will beat the field with only a handful. This is gonna be a brutal one to get through.
I would take. Of my 150, I would rather get 10 of them through when it's 1% 6 of 6 than get 30 of them through when it's 10% 6 of 6. That's obvious, but I'm trying to think of like a more extreme example.
No, I mean the value of having a 6 of 6 when it's super low is valuable. As bad as that sentence was, let me tell you, it can really be good. And in tournaments like this, 6 of 6, even though last week we saw someone with 5 of 6 just blow the field away in the 5-5-5. I've never seen that though.
Yeah, that was especially when 20% were 6 of 6.
And it was a scoring fest. Like normally 6 of 6 is mitigated if it's really difficult.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's no streaks. Guys are going to be hitting the under 70 bonus. Guys are going to be getting streaks all over the place.
To be fair, I'm not sure that guy would have. I'm not sure that lineup's in the top 1,000 in the lotto, but
no, but even in a
200-man field, sure.
Yeah, and he won by 20 points.
Yeah, because he hit. It was like 4 or 5 of top 6.
All right, enough of that nonsense.
Aaron Baddeley, Muhaka wanted to know why Baddeley is popping in models. Because he's historically not like that bad, and he kind of plays okay. He just has some decent data. The bad is really bad, but
Mr. Badley, he was 4th at Safeway. He gained 10 strokes on the approach. That's
lock it up.
I'm not even, no joke. If you added his strokes gained approach for the last like 3 years, I don't think it would be over 10.
I bet it would.
I think it might be negative.
I'll take a strong over. No, because his big problem is spraying, so he has a greater chance to gain strokes on the approach. The whole fun thing about the different strokes gain metrics are they do a better job of making the different shots independent from one another than like GIR is so dependent on the tee shot, and strokes gain approach tries to take the tee shot out of it. But again, guys that are atrocious off of the tee, there's just more strokes for them to gain on the approach. Cameron Champ doesn't get a chance to gain strokes on the approach because he's all of a sudden, 2.5 strokes away when he's 60 yards out in the fairway.
It's not even that. He gets the opportunity to lose more strokes. Because if he's hitting his irons to where where Wes Bryant is hitting his irons, Champ is losing a boatload, and Wes Bryant is gained. It is what it is. You got to be aware of that. But those are the outliers. all in all, unless you're doing something incredible, it's not going to make that big a difference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Not that we haven't been getting egregious, but do we have other names?
Yeah, Coolers did drop us a list. Where did I put it?
It's tough. Obviously, Chad, if you have any questions, drop them in there. We'll be happy to answer some of this real shady business.
I thought I dropped it right under that sick Zion Williamson dunk you showed me, but I will say, listen, as a noted college athletics hater it's not them. It's just that you can't. I have a very hard time looking at a college game and being like, oh, that guy's really good because he's dominating terrible athletes. Like, it's not the same. Zion Williamson looks unreal. I've just never seen anything like that. Like, I don't know. It's wild. Because you can watch, I mean, my point is, you watch, like, who's the guy, oh my God, this is driving me, this is stupid.
From the European tour?
No, asshole. The guy who was, like, the second pick by the Grizzlies, Hashim Thabit, who was just, like, destroying everybody in college and then couldn't do anything in the NBA because he just wasn't quick when it came to the NBA. He was just tall and long, and that was a sick draft too. I think like something happened where I forget exactly how that went, but that was definitely a draft where there were like players that are still in the league and really good drafted like right after him. Whatever.
Yeah, he was good in college.
Yeah, he looked. I mean, if you look at his college tape, it's like, oh my God, this guy is absolutely dominating. But he was doing it against bad players, so it's not as impressive. Zion Williamson, you showed me that dunk, and his head is like the rim is literally right here. It's like that is stupid.
Yeah, man, it's something.
If he's 6'7" and it's 3 inches above his head, that's 3 foot, 3.5, 3'8". So that's 44 inch in game. Like that's not right. Continuing. The egregious lists, which I have here, now I'm going to drop it under this sweet Zion Williamson dunk.
I'm starting the list off myself here.
Great.
With, as I say all the time, your boy, and this one really is, he's only 6,300. He withdrew last time out, Sam Saunders.
Oh, yeah.
I have him on one team.
Yeah. I mean, I think I set my max exposure on him to like 6 or 8%. Like I'd like to have a little, but he's been really bad.
He's just the kind of guy, and we've all seen this within a tournament. I mean, he can get crazy hot. He's been there. Can he sustain it? Probably not, but he allows you to do some different builds. That was the only guy I reached for. Like, he's only 6,300. A lot of times DraftKings caps stuff at like, the 6,500 is the bottom. That's not the case this week.
No, you got your boy Wes Bryant, stone in, buddy, 6K flat.
Stone, I don't think that's that crazy. I did not go there. Wasn't even close, to be honest. But this is the kind of course he doesn't have to drive at. That'll help.
It's hard to. That was the joke I was trying to make yesterday. It's like hard to lose strokes. I think I said that you can't lose strokes off the tee. Obviously, you can. Especially when in relative terms, because they do adjust that for the field each week. But it's better for him than usual. All right, Keith Mitchell, we've talked about. I don't really have a ton of interest there.
No, Keith. We did have a good question in chat, though.
I don't care. I'm talking about egregious.
Wow. Disrespect. Sam Ryder or Harold Varner? That is really close for me.
Yeah, I'll lean Varner.
I think I lean Ryder, actually. But again, I have both of those pretty much equal exposure. I like Neiman more than both.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of either, but in the 8 to 10% range, and I really like Neiman there. And yeah, I just know Varner better, I guess. Followed him for longer. Was a fan of his coming up. Been off him for most of the last year because he was pretty bad, but getting back on a bit. I was way on him 2 weeks ago and looked good for a while. Came in 15th, but he was top 3 for a large part. Or was that last week? I don't know.
What?
No, that was 2 weeks ago. Nick Watney, fan favorite.
He is. It's funny. I needed a $7,400 golfer really badly on a team, and I decided to blow that team up. So that's kind of how I feel about Nick Watney. him and Kramer Hickok were guys where I was like, I don't mind playing them. And then ultimately I decided to bump up to 7,500 instead and take Brian Gay or Ryan Armour.
Okay. I don't know if I love Armour more than Watney.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nick Watney just didn't. Everything, no matter what I looked at, it was just like, It just, nothing stood out. Where Armour just this is his type of course. He's somewhat consistent, kind of just does his thing.
Yep. Battle League we discussed a little bit. I didn't really end up on any, or I haven't thus far, but I will tell you, I've come a lot closer than I have since. I played him once this summer. I think it was the Fishbowl par 3 tournament. The Byron Nelson. I want to say it was there. Didn't go well.
No, I don't. I have no interest in Badly.
Strillman we did discuss. I'm in. Armour we discussed. You're in.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Dahman we sort of discussed yesterday. I'm not there.
Nah, he got on a run, and we see this in golf. Like, he clearly figured something out, and he was hitting the ball. Honestly, for a stretch there, the best player on tour, tee to green. He couldn't putt, and he was just dialed in. Naturally, obviously, he couldn't sustain that forever, and now he's back to kind of where he should be.
Mm-hmm.
He does wear the Raiden hat, which I respect.
I don't.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I just don't. It's fine. I don't really. It doesn't give me extra points. Were you like a big Mortal Kombat head as a kid?
No, but I wasn't really into any of that stuff.
Classic film. How many times have you seen it?
22, maybe. Something like that.
Do you like Mortal Kombat 2?
Annihilation.
Yeah, Annihilation.
That one's horrible. No, I never had the game. I could name 8 characters, maybe. 9.
I bet I could still name 8 characters. Because that was like, I was not...
I
played video games, but not like... I've never been like a huge video game person. Obviously, I grew up with them. I've played a fair amount. But that game was like the biggest game in the world when I was in middle school.
Yeah, I played a little bit. After we get to our hot takes, we'll do. You want to bet on that? We'll go back and forth.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Cool. So that'll be a little right after the hot takes. We'll do a little Mortal Kombat gambling for the fans.
Indeed.
Now I got to start thinking of this while I.
And we will probably play for pretty high stakes. So if anyone wants to slide into my DMs, the complete list name of characters, there's a 10 spot in it for you. Just kidding. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah, Chad. No respect. All right, who we got here?
The next one, I feel like I had a nope. No, that's where no. It was a segue. Steven Yeager.
That's a guy you guys mentioned him yesterday, and I'm not opposed to that. He didn't make my lineups, but that's because I'm not playing full volume still. I think he's a decent play. He's been erratic. He's got a couple missed cuts and a couple like 15th place finishes. We know he can go low. As a GPP flyer, I think that's as good as you're going to do in that range. Still like Poston, but he's another viable guy.
Yeah, I don't
like him.
Guy. No, I've never. I don't know.
Yeah, you said this yesterday, and I just forgot that you don't really play him.
No, I don't think I ever really have. Maybe I might have dipped my toe in a little bit last year at the during this time, but I don't feel like he's ever really. I don't feel like I've ever regretted not playing Steven Yeager. Sam Saunders we talked about. It's reasonable. Have a little bit, and then Troy Merritt was another guy that for me sort of stood out as like not a guy I like, but a guy as. I sort of broke down ownership versus some of the chances of certain things happening.
Do you have his price?
No.
Troy Merritt. Trey Mullinax. That's not who I want.
Trey Mullinax is 6,600, but.
I know. He's just terrible, though. Problem with Troy Merritt is I can't find him. Oh, here he is.
900.
Yeah, I don't mind that. He's a guy that he won Barbasol, can get crazy hot with the irons, pretty good putter, and when we talk about this a lot in GBP. You'd rather have a guy like him. He misses a lot of cuts, but when he gets through, he has a lot of top tens for a bad golfer. So you have a big chance of getting really paid off if you play a guy like that, rather than someone who, coming in 42nd is nice all the time, but in the lotto, in the $5 lotto, that's not going to help. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's a decent dart throw.
Fair enough. And that is the last of our egregious list.
Okay. So we got a hot take, and then we got a Mortal Kombat trivia. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Last week, for everyone watching, I lost because your hot take was just fantastic. It was Matt Kuchar doing some work. Mine wasn't bad, though. It was Lahiri, and we were 1-2 for a while.
Yeah. 1-2, like, I would have loved for that to have happened because that was when I was winning the stupid lotto.
So good work to us.
Yeah, it works. Every once in a while, a dog finds a bone or a coyote.
Blind squirrel. Do you have a hot take? Do you want me to go first? I like to take the temperature of what you just said and then do something.
Why? Are you thinking about going towards Nicholas Lindheim?
Yeah, mine's Nicholas Lindheim related. I just don't know what I have to say. 10-stroke victory. Or like it could be somewhere in there.
I think Carl's hot take last fall was that Nicholas Lindheim would have a 10-stroke victory at the Masters.
Yes, the Omega Masters. I'll say that Nicholas Lindheim, T20? Can I take it? That's not bad. That's
Nicholas
like
Lindheim T20?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty out there.
Okay, that's mine.
All right. I think that is perfectly acceptable. I'm going to dip back with Burgoon, I guess. I'll take him doing something.
So he just has to do anything. I like it.
He has to show up, tee off first thing.
I'll give you the better of this. You're definitely a favorite, but how about take a T20 with him?
Oh, wow. I mean, I was going to go top 10 just because I thought that mine was a little easier.
That's more fair.
Let's split the difference. Let's say top 15.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
That was good. Hey, first of all, I know it doesn't feel like it. This has been an awesome year. I know we were at FanVice for part of it with golf, but for everyone who's been watching the shows, we really do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun for us. We love the chat. And we've had some really good moments. Most of them for golf were not during the swing season, but it's been an awesome year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure there will be a voice malfunction at some point where kidnapping just gets involved again.
Anyway, all right. Now we got Mortal Kombat trivia time.
Mortal Kombat trivia time. I like it. You went first with Raiden, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's fine. How much? Hold on, $50?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, go. Yeah, I have Raiden. Go. We get
right,
5.
What do we do? Just whoever gets stumped first.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
All right.
10.
Okay. Sub-Zero.
Scorpion. That's this is going to be bad because
I was trying to go with the easy guys first, but Johnny Cage.
Yeah, we might need Chad to tell us if these are people.
Johnny, we're good so far.
Okay, I'll take Liu Kang.
God damn it, that was mine.
All right, now I'm starting to get into the zone. I have one stored up.
I am already freezing up. So Elektra, is that right? The one?
I don't.
No, that's a Daredevil. That's a Daredevil person.
That was easy.
Oh, God damn it!
Sonya
I had the Shang Tsung.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I should have gone with that.
I had Sonya, the girl.
That's who I was thinking of, I believe.
Woo-hoo. Ship it.
We gotta be. Let's put our heads together here, though, because whatever, embarrassing loss aside, we can do more than this. Reptile was the other guy who's like Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Who was green?
God damn it!
And I have one more. Oh, the Goro, the forearm guy.
Oh yeah, and Baraka, the guy
I don't know
Baraka was the dude with he was super. He was like a zombie looking guy, kinda. He was bald and had
that's above.
He had blades on his arm or something. Barack, I swear that's a person.
Bill Haas with samurai swords attached to him. And Kano. You know Kano?
Didn't we already say him?
The Australian? Did we? No.
Yes. Okay, I'm not crazy. Baraka, 100% looks like a zombie or vampire, and has like blades out of his arm. They come out of his arms, not his. It's like Wolverine, but out of his forearms.
Well,
it's fucking badass, dude.
Yeah, that guy's a boss. Anyway, that's what we got. RSM Classic. Anything else? Any final words before we bounce on out?
What's your favorite Mortal Kombat film?
Is there multiple? I think there's only two.
Sure.
I'll take the first one.
Can't believe I don't think I ever. I mean, I know that I never saw either, but
I've seen both, and they're both horrible films.
Yeah, I hate it when people call movies films.
Oh, really?
But I like it when you say. I think it's I just think it's kind of pretentious. But like when we're talking about video game, that's when you bring out film.
Fair enough.
Contrarian, guys, contrarian. That's what we do here and on that this world. Osmo.com. Get contrarian. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Pleasure doing this with you. We will not have a Wednesday night show for a little while, but let's be honest, the golf is gone for like 3.5 weeks. And then,
we'll be back sooner than you think.
Yeah, and then it's on for 57 straight weeks. So it's a long season. It's been a pleasure. I wish I had built like you, because now I have to spend another couple hours on finishing that up, and I'm not looking forward to it. But have fun, everyone. Oh, I gotta press the button. All right.